Okay, so this is what happened. I had gastric reflux disorder, and I was snoring quite a lot. I stopped snoring the first week. I thought, what the hell? That's supposed to be associated with weight loss. Because I had gained some weight. I weighed about 212 pounds, and I'm about 6'1½", so that was my maximum weight. I stopped snoring, which was a great relief to Tammy. So that just quit, and that's a big deal, right? Because if you snore, you have sleep apnea, and then you don't sleep right, and it's like not a good thing. Okay, next. I started waking up in the mornings. I'd never been able to wake up in the mornings my whole life. I always had to stumble to the shower, and then maybe I could wake up. It took me an hour, and I felt terrible. And so all of a sudden I woke up, and it was like, oh, look at that. I'm awake in the morning, and I'm clear-headed, and things aren't gloomy and horrible. It's like, well, isn't that weird? Then I lost 7 pounds the first month. I thought, 7 pounds, that's a lot in a month. Then I lost 7 pounds the next month. Then I lost 7 pounds the next month. I lost 7 pounds every month for 7 months. It's like I had to throw away all my clothes. I went back to the same weight that I was when I was 26. And my psoriasis disappeared. And I had floaters in my right eye, and they cleared up. And so although I was getting better physically in a variety of ways, like radical ways, and I was having sporadic, really negative reactions to food when I ate something I shouldn't. So that took about 1.5 years to clear up. And I was still really anxious in the morning up to 3 months ago, like horribly. And then it would get better all day. People said, well, you're under a lot of stress. And I thought, yeah, I've been under a lot of stress for like 10 years. It's like, it's a lot, but it wasn't any more stressful than helping my daughter deal with her illness, that's for sure. That, no, this is something different. And she said to me, quit eating greens. And I thought, oh, really? Jesus, Mikhaila, I'm eating cucumbers, lettuce, broccoli, and chicken and beef. It's like I have to cut out the goddamn greens? It's like, try it for a month. Okay. Within a week, I was 25% less anxious in the morning. Within 2 weeks, 75%. And I've been better every single day. I'm better now probably than I've ever been in my life. And I haven't been taking antidepressants for a whole year. So I don't know what, and I weigh 162 pounds. Like I have and I've actually gained musculature. I've been doing some working out, but not a lot. And so I can sleep 6 hours a night, no problem. I wake up in the morning, I'm awake. If I take a 15-minute nap, that used to take me an hour to recover from, that's gone. Here's the coolest thing. I've had gum disease since I was 25. That's been serious enough to I've had to have minor surgical interventions, scraping and that sort of thing to keep it at bay. It's gone. I checked with my dentist before this last tour. No inflammation. And that's associated with heart disease, by the way, gum inflammation and gingivitis. It's a good risk factor for heart disease. It means the systemic inflammation is gone. And it's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to recover from gingivitis. And my gums are in perfect shape. It's like, what the hell? So here's what happened. I lost 50 pounds. It's like, that's a lot, right? I'm nowhere near as hungry as I used to be. My appetite's probably fallen by 70%. I don't get blood sugar dysregulation problems. I need way less sleep. I get up in the morning and I'm fine. I'm not anxious. I'm not depressed. I don't have psoriasis. My legs were numb on the sides. That's gone. I'm certainly intellectually at my best at the moment, which is a great relief, especially doing this tour. Depression is gone. I'm stronger. I can swim better. And my gum disease is gone.
And so I started out with primal paleo type diets. They maybe helped a little. In the process of doing that, I discovered this thing called a ketogenic diet. And so I thought, well, I'll try that for a few months. And that immediately started the weight loss. My hemoglobin A1C, which is the primary marker used for type 2 diabetes that doctors look at, it started to come down precipitously. All of my symptoms of heartburn, joint pain, inflammation, rosacea, dandruff, skin tags, all of that stuff started to get better on this ketogenic diet. And in the process, I was reading about your dad, Jordan Peterson. He's doing this carnivore diet. I'm like, that's interesting, because that's as low carb as you can possibly get, right? And then I saw this crazy Dr. Sean Baker, an orthopedic surgeon. He's doing this carnivore diet. And so on my Facebook page, I just issued a challenge. I said, hey guys, let's do 30 days of this carnivore diet. Let's see what happens. And so when I tell you I had heartburn, it was severe, almost disabling. It was so severe. I had to take 2 Nexium, which is a very strong prescription medication for GERD. I had to take 2 a day. So I would have to do that plus some Tums or Rolaids or some other antacid during the day. It affected my ability to speak. It affected my ability to breathe and swallow at the same time. It was really bad. So on a ketogenic diet full of real whole one ingredient foods, not all the keto shakes and cakes and cookies and pies, but real keto food, my heartburn, which was severe, 10 out of 10, got 80% better. And I'm like, huh. At that point, I didn't know enough. I hadn't reached out to enough people to know that that wasn't just an anecdotal weird thing that happened to me. That's something that very commonly happens for people with severe reflux when they start a ketogenic diet. But then when I did my 1 month carnivore challenge, at the end of that month, I realized I hadn't taken a single thing for heartburn that entire month, which was very unusual for me. And so I thought, that's really cool, but also very weird. I'm gonna do this carnivore another month. So I let everybody on my Facebook page off the hook. They could go back to their keto if they wanted to, but I stuck with carnivore and have been a carnivore now for 28, 29 months. And at this point, I have no intentions of ever going back.
So I went over this a bit, but I used to be really sick. And I want to talk to people who aren't just using the carnivore diet to get like hotter, but to get like healthier. So that's specifically autoimmune disorders and mood disorders, but also, fatigue, skin problems, like a cracky jaw, like whatever. Okay, so age 2, I had symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. So I was just walking funny. My parents used to put me on their shoulders, and when they put me down, I cried, and it was like cried and sat down. So something was going on with my hips as early as age 2. When I was 7, I was diagnosed with arthritis. I had 35 joints that they could tell were actively inflamed. Age 8, I was the first kid in Canada to be put on Enbrel. So I was taking methotrexate, naproxen, Enbrel, which is a biologic drug. Methotrexate's pretty intense too. That was age 8. Age 9, I started exhibiting more symptoms of depression and anxiety with OCD tendencies. Age 17, hip replacement. So I was told at 16 that I would need a hip replacement before the age of 30. And then things went downhill like really quickly because my diet went from like healthy whole grains, but meat, and like we ate organic, and like my mom was trying to be healthy, to surviving off of noodles. And things got really bad in university. I gained weight. My mood was just awful. I went completely nuts. I kept trying to fix my antidepressants and try and like an SNRI, which went really badly. I went up on Wellbutrin high enough that it gave me a seizure. It was a rough year. So then I was like, okay, I can tolerate this. I'm slowly gaining weight, but like I can handle this. And then it started to hit my skin. And doctors were telling me, you're doing it yourself, stop. Because I kept going and saying, my skin is like dying, what's happening? And they're like, well, stop scratching. And I was like, you don't understand. So I'm in doctor's offices, I'm like crying, and they're like, well, you're crazy. I was like, okay, this isn't working out for me. So this is what started to happen. These are some not fun pictures. That's me looking puffy and really unimpressed with life. Okay, so 2015, I realized gluten-free wasn't a fad. And then over that didn't really make much of a difference, honestly, getting rid of gluten. So in September, I went on an elimination diet that I kind of came up with myself, and it was just meat, root vegetables, and rice, because I thought those seem like things nobody's allergic to. I kind of just tried to cut out allergens. And I did it for a week and nothing changed, and I didn't realize this, but I was getting cravings at that point. And I made gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free banana almond flour muffins. I was like, that's healthy. And I just ate, 5 of them that night. And I woke up in the morning, my wrists were kind of sore. And I was like, maybe there's something to this. And then I had 4 more muffins because sore wrists, whatever, the muffins were good. And then the next day I was in the grocery store shopping and my knees locked up and I spent the next 2.5 days in bed. And that never happened with my arthritis. Like, I didn't really have bad flare-ups in my knees. And so I thought, oh my God, like maybe there's something to this. So I went back to the original elimination diet, and I lost 3 pant sizes that month and 5 pounds. And I thought, well, that doesn't really make any sense. And it turned out the reason I could never get abs was because I was just permanently bloated, which I hadn't even known was a thing. So I went through this for a number of years. The low-carb diet, I cut out rice because I realized that bothered me. But I was on something that was like apples, greens, root vegetables, but not potatoes, meat. And I was doing really, really well on that. And I stopped all my medication, and I stopped my antidepressants in November. I could tell the depression was gone. Like, when you take antidepressants, you still know it's there. And it lifted, and I was like, whoa, I gotta get my dad on this because he has the same depression I have. So he went on it. And then we tried to reintroduce foods and did it just terribly. Like I said earlier, it was like, I might as well go out with a bang if I can't eat, anything again, sugar, anything. So I'd eat a whole pile of it. And then I started experiencing these horrific reactions. And I went to doctors, and I was saying, man, I think I'm allergic to soy. I think I'm allergic to almonds. Like, I think I'm allergic to sugar. And they're going, well, it's not showing up on the skin test. And I was like, it's not an IgE allergy. Like, it's something else. Something's happening. Like, do you look into, other types of antibodies or inflammatory reactions? No, those aren't real allergies. I was like, I reintroduced a whole bunch of food. My arthritis is back. My skin is breaking out. I have body odor. My gums are bleeding. My face is puffy. And I'm on the verge of hallucinating, and nothing is happening. Like, you can see something happening. Like, I knew meat didn't bother me, and at that point I was eating meat and lettuce and pepper and salt and apple cider vinegar and olive oil. And I came across Sean Baker on Joe Rogan, and he was saying, oh, I've been doing this for 2 years. And I was like, well, he's big and strong and looks healthy. Like, okay. So that night I cut everything out. About a week later, the itching stopped and the arthritis went away. And my digestion was just a disaster. And I was like, well, I guess it's a trade-off, right? I don't want the itching and the arthritis. My depression lifted in about 6 weeks. I wasn't happy, but I wasn't depressed, and that was good. My mom hopped on board really quickly in January. I was like, you want to give it a shot? She's like, sure. So that's my mom, and this is her on the carnivore diet. She let me take this picture. She knows it's here. She's 57. Yeah, and that is everything she was suffering from. She's good now. She's happy. She's still doing meat. It's been a year. This is Dad. He is 57, and he looks great. His has been a little bit more difficult to get under control with mood problems, but he had a whole bunch of problems. He was sleeping all the time, too. He never naps now. He's just go, right? He's done, like 180 tours this year? Like, he's got unlimited energy.